What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here to break down the college basketball slate on Draftkings. We got a nice little 5-game slate today, mostly Pac-12 and Big Ten games. No more SEC, no ACC, as usually they don't play later into the week. So we're going to get into all of that. But before I do that, if you're new here, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to this channel if you're new. All this stuff really helps me grow, and I'm just trying to continue to grow throughout college basketball and NBA season. So go check out that NBA video that should already be up for you as well today. A lot of good information over there. If you want to get more of my content, if you want to get this spreadsheet with all the stats you need to know and projections for every single day of college basketball, Draftkings, be sure to hit the link in my bot or in the description below, the Patreon link, and you'll get this. It's only $5 a month, so be sure to check that out. Let's get into the plays though, because I know that's what you want to talk about. We're going to start out with talking about the UCLA versus Cal game. I'm not really too interested in this game. Overall, it's only at a total of 136. UCLA has an implied team total of 71.6, and Cal has an implied team total of 63.1. That's going to cause me to really not be that interested in this game, and it is, I think, the slowest paced game on the slate. Yeah, it is the slowest paced game on the slate, too, so this is just not a game that I'm really all that interested in. But if there were two guys I would be interested in from this game, number one is going to be Tiger Campbell, the starting point guard for UCLA. I gave him 33 minutes. He's $6,700. He's a 0.8 point per minute guy with a usage rate of 20 and assist rate of 35.7. He's got one of the highest assist rates in the country, and that's going to be really good for DFS. And then on the Cal side, we're going to go Grant Anticevich. I still don't know how to say his name. $5,600. I gave him 31 minutes. He's got a usage rate of 17.5, assist rate 9.6, and rebound rate of 10.3. He's just going to play a ton of minutes, and he's only $5,600, so that grades out pretty well there. So those are going to be the two guys I would be interested in from that game. All right, we're done with that game. That game sucks. Let's move on to Arizona State, Arizona. This is actually going to be my favorite game to target on the day with a total of 153.5. Arizona State has an implied total of 75.5, and Arizona has an implied total of 77.8. It's going to be a fast-paced game as well with a 74.35 pace. I think it's the fastest. Yeah, this is the fastest paced game on the entire day as well. So this is just going to be a great game to target. We're going to start with Remy Martin, who is the guy on the cover. Remy Martin coming into this year was supposed to be like the star of his team. Was supposed to be. I think he was Pac-12 preseason player of the year if I believe that. Remember that correctly. But he hasn't really been as productive. But that's mostly because they've just gotten other good players there like Alonzo Verge, Josh Christopher, Marcus Bagley. So. But Remy Martin is $6,400, and he's going to play 36 minutes, and he's got a usage rate 23.5 and an assist rate 23.7 in a fast-paced game. Yeah, he's too cheap. He's just too cheap. For those amount of minutes, that amount of usage, all that, it's just way too cheap in my opinion. I think Remy Martin is a great play today. He stands out as a really good value. He's someone I want to lock into my lineups, and I'm really excited to play him. Alonzo Verge is $7,500. I gave him 32 minutes. He's almost a whole point per minute guy at a 0.94 point per minute guy with a usage rate of 29.3 and an assist rate of 26.3. He's been a real surprise for Arizona State this year. He's been really good, and I don't hate going back there again. I just don't ever have a problem playing Alonzo Verge at this point, especially in a fast-paced, high-scoring game. Chris Oston has seen his minutes gradually been... not really gradually, kind of spike up recently. We saw him get 32 minutes last game. I only gave him 28 today, and at $4,500, he's not the most productive player. Only a 0.5 point per minute guy, usage rate of 10, assist rate 2, and a rebound rate of 10. But he's going to be out there for a ton of minutes, and at $4,500, that is going to project out as a value. Now let's go take a look at the Arizona side of things here, where I'm also very interested in these guys. Benedict Mathurin is $6,900. I have him for 30 minutes today. He's almost a whole point per minute guy at 0.9. The usage rate of 22 and a rebound rate of 12.3. He's just going to be out there a lot at $6,900. Is going to project out well. Dalen Terry looks like a really good value for me at $3,600. I give him 26 minutes today. He's a 0.6 guy. The usage rate of 13.1 and an assist rate of 17.4. That's going to look really good for me here. James Akinjo is, ever since Jamal Baker has went out, James Akinjo is kind of taken over as the guy here. I give him 37 minutes. He's got a 0.8 point per minute with a usage rate of 22.6 and an assist rate of 30.7. That is very, very high, and at $7,600, that's just too cheap for those rates. And then Terrell Brown Jr. is $4,900. I gave him 33 minutes. He's a 0.77 guy, usage rate of 15.3, and a high assist rate of 25.6. So he looks well as a good value as well. But James Akinjo is definitely my favorite play on the Arizona side, and I think Terry's looks like a really good value as well. Next game we're going to talk about is Washington State versus Utah. This is going to be another game I'm really not that excited to get to. Only has a total of 133.5. Washington State is a total of 67.3, and Utah at 68.9. This game's it's going to be slightly below average pace at 71.7. Ife Abogidi, I hope I said that one right. He's $6,600. He's going to be my first interest here. I gave him 35 minutes. He's a 1.05 point per minute guy, usage rate 19.6, and a rebound rate of 17.7. Those rates, set point per minute, those amount of minutes he's going to get at 6,600 is just too cheap. I mean, yeah, it's not the best game environment, but that is still too cheap in my opinion. As is Deshaun Jackson, $4,900 for him. I gave him 34 minutes today. He's a 0.71 point per minute guy, usage rate of 19.1, and a rebound rate of 12.2. Both of them just seem too cheap for their roles on his team. Yeah, I mean, it's not the best game environment. I wouldn't call them top plays, but I do think they are interesting guys to go after. And then we got Pelle Larsson and Mikhail Jantunen for Utah. Pelle Larsson's $5,300. I gave him 33 minutes today. He's got a 0.72 point per minute with a usage rate of 19.5 and an assist rate of 23.1. That looks pretty good for his price tag. And then Mikhail Jantunen is $5,000. I gave him 29 minutes. He's got a 0.64 point per minute with a usage rate of 15.9. Don't like him as much, but he does project out as a decent value. Now we're going to go talk about Indiana, Iowa. This game has an implied total of 152. Indiana only has an implied team total though of 69.8, and Iowa is always going to be high scoring, 80 for them. This game has a pace of 73.55. That's going to be a pretty nice spot to target as well. And then the three guys I'm going to be interested in on Indiana are going to be A.J. Durham, Rob Finney, and then Trace Jackson Davis. A.J. Durham, $6,000. I gave him 35 minutes today. He's only a 0.61 point per minute guy, but he's got a nice usage rate of 18.9 and a nice assist rate of 18.9. That's going to grade out pretty well for him in a up-tempo game, in a high-scoring game. And then Rob Finney has actually been playing really good. I think he's a little bit underpriced for the way he's been playing. I did only give him 30 minutes. He is coming off the bench. Only a 0.5 point per minute guy, but he has a usage rate of 17.9 and an assist rate of 17.6. If he can just get a few more shots to fall down, then I think that is going to be a very good play at $5,300. And then Trace Jackson Davis. He's just one of the best players in the country. I gave him 35 minutes today. He's expensive. You're going to have to pay for him. He's a 1.07 guy. He's got a usage rate of 30.8 and a rebound rate of 15.5. But to be honest, if you have the money, just go get Garza. I don't even think I need to explain why to play Luka Garza anymore. He's just been, the most productive player in college basketball this year from a DFS standpoint. I gave him 34 minutes today. He's almost a 1.5 point per minute. That's ridiculous. A 32.3 usage rate and a rebound rate of 14.9. If you have the money to get him, get him. And there's some value on his slate, so I think it's not that hard to get Luka Garza today. Now going to Rutgers and Penn State. This game has an implied total of 142.8, with Penn State at 70.9 and Rutgers at 71.9. This game has a pace of 72.8. That's going to be a pretty solidly paced game for today. I gave Myrion Jones 34 minutes today. He's kind of their best player. And there is Miles Dredd might miss. That's going to be even more usage for Myrion Jones, in my opinion. But be paying attention to that one. I don't think it holds that much weight on the slate, except maybe bumping him up a little bit. He's a 0.86 point per minute guy, with usage rate of 26.2 and an assist rate of 15.5. And on the other side, you have Rutgers, where I'm interested in Baker, Mathis, and Harper. Geo Baker's too cheap. He's $5,100. Shoot. I gave him 32 minutes today. He's got a 0.7 point per minute, if a usage rate of 20.3 and an assist rate of 16.6. I just think he's way too cheap. Same with Montez Mathis. I gave him 30 minutes, a 0.7 point per minute guy, usage rate of 23.2. The other rates aren't as high, so I understand his pricing a little bit. I think Baker should be 56, 57, and Mathis probably is right about where he should be. And Ron Harper, he just isn't a good spot here. Give him 33 minutes, he's $6,800, almost a whole point per minute guy at 0.99, 24.4 usage rate, 12.2 assist rate, and a rebound rate of 10.1. Then the last game of the day is going to be Memphis and Wichita State. This game has an implied total of 139. This is probably not the best spot to go after, but it's not bad either. And on a 5-game slate, you're probably going to need to get some exposure there. Ricky Council and Morris Udeze projectiles, pretty good values for me. Council's 4,200. I gave him 23 minutes, which isn't great, but he's a 1.05 point per minute guy, and that's going to project him out as a good value if he plays those minutes. He has a usage rate of 25.2 and an assist rate of 14.1 and a rebound rate of 15.6. I wouldn't call him the safest play here at all. He's definitely not someone I'd go for in cash, but definitely in tournaments I would get some Ricky Council exposure, because if all of a sudden someone gets in foul trouble, he ends up playing 26, 27 minutes, he's going to be an absolute smash. So that's someone I do. Those are the kind of guys I like to get to in tournaments. Morris Udeze is $4,800. I gave him 25 minutes. He's a 0.8 point per minute guy. Usage rate 22.4. Same thing with Council. Both these guys are going to be pretty good plays if they get more minutes. So they're just tournament-only plays. And then Lester Quinones is the only guy I'm interested in on Memphis. Memphis is really like Florida State. And if you've been watching my videos for a lot, you know my gripes with Florida State. They just play a bunch of guys 20 minutes a game. And that's kind of what Memphis does. And it's just none of them project out great for DFS. But Blister Canones, I did give 29 today. He is $6,000. He's a 0.9 point per minute guy with a usage rate of 19.9 and an assist rate of 18.1, and he projects out pretty solidly. But I think that's really all I got to say on this video. Thank you guys so much for checking this out. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to this channel if you want to get the projections and the spreadsheet. Hit that link down below, and hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And be sure to check out that NBA video, and let's make some money tonight.